You need to avoid debt. Everybody knows that you don't want to be in debt. But why is that? That's mainly for two reasons. If you are in debt, you gave away your future income. That effectively means that you have less spending flexibility in the future. The other reason is that debt costs you money because you pay an interest on your debt. But what people don't know is that debt can create financial stress. And with that financial stress, it can also impact your cognitive abilities. There is an interesting study from the University of Harvard and from Princeton. And in that study, they looked at what financial stress with somebody's cognitive abilities. They did two studies. In one study, they looked at shoppers in New Jersey. And in the other study, they looked at farmers in India. In the study, when they looked at shoppers in New Jersey, what they did a survey. And in that survey, they looked at how much did somebody earn. So what's their financial situation. They made it two groups, one with higher incomes and one with lower incomes. So somebody who has above $70,000 of family income and somebody in the lower income range with $20,000 of income. Then they gave them a financial scenario. For instance, what if your car would break down and you get a big expense? Or what if you get a small expense? And after that financial scenario, they did an IQ test, a traditional IQ test. And what they found was quite interesting. They looked at these groups and how do these groups score on their IQ. And interestingly, the IQ levels of these two groups were very similar. But if they gave the lower income group a very stressful financial situation, they saw that your IQ level would decrease by 13 points. To put it in perspective, that's the difference between somebody who has a high school degree and somebody who has a college degree. So the impact was very significant. They did find that this drop in IQ was temporary, but you can imagine that what kind of impact it will have on the financial decisions that you will need to make. In the second study, they looked at farmers in India. They tested the IQ of these farmers before and after harvest. What they found is that after harvest, they had a much higher IQ. And interestingly enough, is that before the harvest, these farmers were in debt. They have a lot of expenses, but they didn't have income yet. And after the harvest, a lot of money came in and they were able to pay off these debts, and that impacted their cognitive abilities. So financial stress is something that you want to avoid, and by avoiding debt, you can avoid financial stress. So in my own life, also if I look at how we raise our children, we want to make sure that they don't get into debt. So we save for their college, so they don't have to get on college debt. But we also think about is that if they want to buy a house in the future and they need to borrow money for that, how can we facilitate that and potentially help with that? And of course, these are big questions, but we try to proactively think about them and maybe already put money aside for them for the future. And if I look at my own life, I've been quite fortunate that I've been able to not accumulate any college debt. I do have a mortgage, but all in all, we don't have any consumer debt as well, which gives us more financial flexibility and that we can now use to realize other financial goals. Thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so, and click on the bell to get a notification when I upload a new video. If you want to ask a question, do so via the comment section and I will answer as soon as possible. Thank you and see you next time.